Welcome back to the channel, guys, and welcome back to Koenigsegg Dagbok, and welcome to episode 12, where we'll be talking about Koenigsegg's first ever hybrid hypercar, also considered a luxurious car because it came with a host of luxurious accoutrements such as two cup holders, and in a car of this nature, that is something that is extremely rare. And by the nature of the car, I mean, this is of course a complete hybrid car with a 5-liter twin-turbocharged V8 mated to 3 electric motors as well as an 800 volt 4.5 kilowatt-hour liquid cooled battery pack. And this made a combined power of 1500 horsepower and a maximum generation of 1280 newton meters of torque. And of course, I mean, in a hybrid car, and this being the first ever one produced by Koenigsegg, and this was produced in 2015 with only 80 being made. And if they cooked that much in 2015, and this is just the start, this is just the tip of the iceberg that we're seeing right here, guys, because in terms of engineering, this thing, if you ask me, is one of the most revolutionary engineering masterpieces to ever grace the grounds of this planet. I mean, in terms of design, this is one of the best looking Koenigseggs ever made, if you ask me, definitely. I mean, as you guys can see, the Regera is right there in the background, and that, as you guys can see, is literally the same design that has been maintained all the way from the CC8S, the nice curvature shapes, and no huge power lines like the Regera. But the Regera has some very different looks, and if you ask me, it is one of the best looking Koenigseggs out there. I mean, just look at it. And as I said, it is just the tip of the iceberg that it puts out 1500 horsepower with a hybrid powertrain, because this does in fact not even have a traditional transmission, because in terms of having a multitude of gears, especially in a car of this nature, it is responsible for efficiency losses as well as added weight. So any chance to remove this double negative is more than welcome. And enter the Koenigsegg direct drive system, and this was a complete patent pending system that was designed by Koenigsegg themselves, an in-house developed transmission, if you will, because this does not in fact have any gears. Of course, it has a forward and reverse as well as park, but that's about it. It is a single gear car to go forward and a single to go back, and you cannot even rev this while it's stationary. And of course, that also means that this thing can pitch some massive power, i.e. top speed numbers, where this thing tops out at 251 miles an hour or 404 kilometers an hour. I mean, 1500 horsepower, hybrid powertrain, 5-liter twin turbocharged V8, triple electric motors, as well as no gears. This thing is a recipe for a complete drag king in its own. I mean, this thing is obviously a complete ground up build by Koenigsegg. Of course, a 0 to 60 time of 2.8 seconds, digital synchro-helix doors, and the Regera also introduced the autoskin system. And now this is something that is very clever, and this is in fact showboating, if you ask me, because with the single press of one button on the key fob, every single massive piece, i.e. the front clamp, the rear clamp, and both the doors open up. And this is completely automatically electronically assisted, because all the normal gas struts have been replaced with hydraulic struts, and with composite materials there is literally hardly any weight difference, and that just shows how Koenigsegg were cooking in 2015. And also, guys, it obviously comes with electric drive, and it can put out a maximum of 700 electric horsepower, and when paired with the ICE engine, it can put out over 1500 horsepower and it can generate over 2000 newton meters of torque. I mean, this thing was already a drag king, if you ask me, given the fact that it came with no multitude of gears, a complete straight line speed focused car, if you will. This is sort of a top speed style car because it literally has no track focused bits or anything. Of course, it comes with a bit of aero and downforce, but other than that, there's hardly anything that advocates to the fact that this thing can be track focused. And given the fact that it doesn't have gears, it just proves my point all the more. But guys, in terms of the design, as I said, this is one of the best looking. I mean, you can look at the Regera R back there. There is literally such a design change. I mean, obviously that design is one of the best. It is classy, it is proper OG Koenigsegg, but the Regera just took it to a whole other level in terms of design, engineering, everything that you could think of. They changed it up and dialed it up to 11. They dialed it up to 12, if you ask me. And of course, this also came with the option of the environmental power upgrade. And this upgrade is in fact something that most people don't even know. And that ups the power from 1500 horsepower to 1757 horsepower, because if you thought the 1500 horsepower output was a little less for your taste, well, the environmental power upgrade was for you. And of course, this upgrade would set you back just $250,000, just 250k. And of course, guys, it also came with something else called the Ghost package, and this in fact increased downforce by 20%. And it actually gave two smaller wings. As you guys can see, it is literally there on this very example right here. It gave you canards as well as two smaller wings, and thereby increased 20% of downforce. So this is still not bad, and this Ghost package would set you back $285,000. So this is not at all bad. But once again, 1500 horsepower not enough for you. 1757 horsepower will have to do. Definitely, of course. And also the Regera also introduced something called the Constellation DRLs, where it is in fact got embedded small LEDs inside the lamp cluster that show the image of a constellation. I don't know which specific one, comment down below if you know what it is. But these just glow and they look like just stars shining in a complete sky of carbon fiber. And this from afar is the proper feature that tells that a Regera is coming your way. And this, if you ask me, is one of the best, although it is a very small feature, if you will, it shows a lot of change. I mean, Koenigsegg are literally one of very few manufacturers that actually do these types of small intricacies, and they do it in their own way. And a fact of that is that it literally looks like there are diamonds encrusted in the lamp cluster, and that is just every single minute detail that is taken into action. Pagani themselves do this, and now Koenigsegg have also been doing this, and this is just proper proof of that they pay attention to the smallest intricacies to show how in detail they go in terms of designing the car, in terms of designing every single car of their own. And that just shows how Koenigsegg have succeeded all these years in terms of making cars, and in terms of making the Regera. This thing was a complete engineering masterpiece, a revolutionary engineering masterpiece, if you will. And of course, guys, the KDD transmission delivers blistering performance, along with also delivering one of the smoothest drives you'll ever get. And from the fact that you get it from a car of this nature, now that is something that is in typical Koenigsegg fashion. Of course, the rear subframe is cradled with the transmission and engine, which actually rest on active soft mounts, and in normal driving they can be in a complete soft mode while isolating engine sound as well as vibrations. But in spirited driving, they can stiffen up and deliver complete responsiveness, and that just shows that the Regera is a complete Jekyll and Hyde driving experience and can do it according to your very own mood. And now that is something that is Koenigsegg fashion in its own. And of course, guys, a complete Kevlar reinforced carbon fiber body and only a weight of 1590 kilograms, 1500 horsepower, 1590 kilograms. Wow, near 1:1 power to weight ratio, if you will. And of course, a complete double wishbone suspension with carbon fiber rear upper wishbones, with electronically adjustable gas hydraulic shock absorbers, with the Koenigsegg triplex damper in the rear, and also the Koenigsegg Z-style progressive and lightweight anti-roll bars. I mean, as I said, this thing is a complete beast and delivers on the front of responsiveness as well as comfort. Now that is a complete Koenigsegg fashion in its own, and that is proper Koenigsegg-esque. And of course, the Constellation DRLs, I mean, that is a complete testament to show that there is cool and there's Koenigsegg cool. And of course, guys, the design, I can literally ramble on and on about the design because this is one of the best designed Koenigseggs ever made. I mean, it is a very different one from what they usually take their approach with. As you guys can see, the Regera R is a literal testament to that. They usually maintain the curved and flat front end, but this just takes it to a whole nother level with a brand new design, a complete brand new ground up build, and with the fact that it puts out 1500 horsepower, no transmission, i.e. no energy loss, no added weight, a complete straight line speed car. And of course, with the fact that you can get that environmental power upgrade and upgrade it from 1500 horsepower, if you think that is too little for your taste, and up it from 1500 to 1757 horsepower, it is a complete one package and all. It is a part and parcel. I mean, you're getting every single thing that you'd want in terms of being as a comfort driver as well as a complete high responsive mega car. I mean, it's the luxurious Koenigsegg with a lot of monstrosity underneath it. And it also comes with the Koenigsegg electronic stability control system with 4 settings: wet or snow, comfort, sport and track. So this thing is definitely up there in terms of responsiveness. As I said, the best way of emphasizing everything into one sentence is the fact that this is a complete Jekyll and Hyde mega car in its own. Every single experience that you would want, every mood that you are in, this car can resonate with that and deliver on whatever front you'd like it to. Now that's Koenigsegg for you guys. And of course, guys, moving on to the Koenigsegg direct drive system, that is basically the replacement for the traditional gearbox. And of course, having a gearbox results in inherent power losses, efficiency losses, as well as added weight. So any alternative that completely jettisons these negatives is more than welcome. And enter the Koenigsegg direct drive system, where this thing is still patent pending but completely forces the power to the rear wheels, along with 4 key elements that work together in harmony to make sure that the KDD delivers on every single occasion. Starting with the Hydra coup, or the hydraulic coupling, that is bespoke and specifically designed for the Regera, which is actually a highly advanced torque converter with a lockup functionality, i.e. the linchpin that ensures the smooth transfer of power from the ICE or the internal combustion engine to the single speed driveline, i.e. the rear wheel. So this ensures that there is smooth transfer of the power to make sure that the power goes swiftly and smoothly to the rear wheels, and that it puts it down as soon as possible without any flaws. And now that is just Koenigsegg fashion in its own. And moving on to the second one, i.e. the 3 electric motors, where one is attached to each of the rear wheels and one is attached to the crankshaft. And of course, these are highly power dense, which make it one of the key ingredients for the KDD to work flawlessly. And of course, they not just put out as much power as possible, but they also deliver extreme responsiveness from 0 RPMs, as well as regenerative braking, energy conversion, as well as complete torque vectoring. So this thing plays quite a huge role in terms of power, in terms of torque vectoring, power conversion, brake regeneration, everything that you could think of. The electric motors actually play a very huge role. And guys, moving on to the 800 volt 4.5 kWh liquid cooled battery pack, that is literal Formula 1 grade cell technology in its own. And if you thought the curse system in the LaFerrari was OP, just wait until you see what this bad boy can do, because this is literal Formula 1 grade tech in its own, with of course the fact that it only weighs in at 64 kilograms, given the fact that it can discharge a maximum of 500 kilowatts of power. And this is literally the key for the Regera's ability to deliver rapid acceleration. And in terms of discharging, this thing does it 10 times quicker than what a normal pure electric car can do, and it can also accept regen 10 times quicker as well. I mean, every fact that you see of this and every element that is there of the KDD literally just shows that individually every piece is a revolutionary engineering masterpiece on its own. And lastly, the fourth and final element, i.e. the 5-liter twin-turbocharged V8, I mean, that is a complete mass power up on its own, and given the fact that it can run on E85, that makes it an even more bigger and sole power up, and every single part plays a huge role in the fact of the driveline, i.e. the drivetrain working seamlessly and flawlessly and making sure that it delivers on every single occasion. I mean, given the fact that it can be as comfortable as you want it to be with the active soft mounts, with the triple electric motors which actually help in responsiveness as well as are highly power dense and are very key to the KDD, and of course the Hydra coupling, that is a complete linchpin to make sure that there is smooth power transfer from the engine to the driveline, i.e. the rear wheels. Every single bit that you hear of the KDD is a complete testament to show that it is a complete engineering masterpiece. Every single bit, every single intricacy is a complete legend on its own, guys. I mean, the Regera on its own in terms of design is beautiful, in terms of engineering even more higher. I mean, this is definitely one of the highest engineered cars of the 2010s, given the fact that they literally jettisoned a basic traditional transmission, put in a single speed transmission, but so much engineering went into it. Every single part that is there, the 4 key elements, each play a massive role and make sure that this thing is on top and delivers on every single location. And that is why the KDD, guys, is a proper legend on its own. And the Regera in terms of design, I mean, this has me at all. If you ask me, I would literally say that in terms of design, this will definitely take number one. But guys, given the fact that it can't rev when it's stationary, and I for one love revving, especially when there's a twin turbocharged V8 that sounds as good as a Koenigsegg engine, I would definitely want to rev it. But nevertheless, I am still not complaining, given the fact of how much engineering went into it and how highly they have done it, and on such a level that no other car marquee has gone. It just shows how Koenigsegg have cooked all these years, and the fact that they'll keep cooking. I mean, 2015, back then the Regera was then now you've got the ESCO with the 9-speed light-speed transmission with 7 clutches, with each gear ready at your helm. I mean, you can literally do it and switch gears whenever you want to any gear with 3 sets of gears, 3 gears each, 9 gears, a complete legend on its own. And I mean, we'll be talking more about the ESCO in that episode, but nevertheless, guys, the Regera is a complete top tier hypercar, and only 80 made, as I said. Production started in 2015, carried on a little bit later on as well. But nevertheless, guys, the Ghost package, the environmental power upgrade, everything that came with the car as an option is a complete hand to note that this is a complete bonkers machine. And of course, a detachable roof which you can remove and stow in the front. Of course, basic Koenigsegg stuff. And of course, the autoskin feature, which if you ask me is a proper Ghost mode. There is in fact on the key fob, on the button, i.e. the single button that you have to press for the autoskin, there is in fact the emblem of a ghost. So that is why I call it Ghost mode. And that is the literal transformer on its own. I mean, given the fact that they've electronically automated every single massive body closure of the Regera to open with the single press of one button, now that on its own is a whole nother level of engineering. And given the fact that there is hardly any weight difference, I mean, the normal gas hydraulic struts on their own are very light, and even the autoskin struts, which were basically the replacements, on their own are as light as possible. And that on its own shows the level of craftsmanship that Koenigsegg do on their cars, and this is a complete testament to that, given the fact of how much engineering went into it, especially the KDD system, guys. I mean, every single bit is so fascinating about it. It is a complete novel idea that no other car manufacturer had even thought of, and Koenigsegg, being their own bold self in their own typical fashion, of course, went right ahead, did it, succeeded with it, and it is now literally a revolutionary piece on its own. And given the fact that engine, the KDD system, everything of it is clad with this much of a beautifully designed car, everything is as top as you'd like it to be. And as I said, guys, the Koenigsegg level of engineering is literally the topmost, if you ask me. No other car marquee quality, goes as high and goes as intricate in terms of detail, engineering, design, everything they do is literally top tier work. I mean, what do you guys think? And also remember that the Regera retook the record, i.e. the same record which it literally held, i.e. the not to 400 km/h and back to not record which it held, which was actually further broken by the Rimac's Nevera. But this did it, and in fact the record was broken a couple of months ago in May or June of 2023. I in fact made a video on it, feel free to check it out, and the Rimac's Nevera broke that record. And guess what? The Regera went back and retook that record, and given the fact that the Rimac's Nevera is literally a brand new 1-year-old 2023/2024 hypercar, and that is an all-electric 1900 plus horsepower hypercar, and this is a literal under nearly a decade old hypercar which is hybrid, 1500 horsepower, and I mean it literally just had the Ghost package. But even with a car that only put out 1500 horsepower, it's a hybrid, and given the fact that it's under a decade old, just under a decade old, now that is something monstrous on its own. I mean, what do you guys think? Leave it in the comments. And also guys, remember that this is considered a luxurious car because it came with a variety and a host of luxurious accoutrements, i.e. the double cup holders, if you will, in a car of this nature. Now that is something you would not need, but nevertheless Koenigsegg just felt the need to put it in. A front and rear hydraulic lift system, a power steering with rear wheel active steering as well as a front and rear hydraulic lift system, a complete Alcantara leather optioned interior with the seats clad with memory foam, with of course Regera embroidery, with as much stitching as possible on the roof, the dash, the seats, everything that you'd expect and get in a luxurious car. You got it in a 1500 horsepower hybrid hypercar, i.e. a Koenigsegg Regera, and this thing on its own is power and luxury put into one, and this thing delivers on both fronts. Comfort, you want it, you get it. You want power, you get it. Everything that you'd want from the fact of a Rolls Royce. Obviously you don't get a 4-seating experience, but nevertheless it's a Koenigsegg. You shouldn't get a 4-seater experience. You should get something that is visceral, something that is raw, something that scares you shitless, and something that excites you at the same time. And this is definitely up there. And I mean the engineering prowess, I mean I keep repeating it guys, but I just have to, because it is fascinating on a whole other level, given the fact that no other car marquee has gone this far and actually succeeded with it, whereas Koenigsegg went ahead, engineered it, did it, developed it specifically for the Regera, and they succeeded with it on the first try. Now that is Koenigsegg level on its own. I mean, as I said, there's cool and this Koenigsegg cool. What do you guys think? Thanks a lot for watching guys. Remember that sub button and click the bell to ensure that you don't miss out on any future videos. Thanks a lot for watching guys. See ya.